Hey everyone, it's summertime. I'm your host, Summer Hill, and I'm here with Tiffany Markarian. And today we talk about skincare, but we also talk about reading and mediumship. And she even reads someone in the room. So you're going to want to check this episode out. See you soon. Hey everyone, it's summertime. I'm your host, Summer Hill, and today I am with my esthetician, Tiffany. I'm so excited. We have like a really fun and like interesting story to share with you all. So I've been going to Tiffany since what, 2018?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a while. Yeah,
I
probably
know I was
something
in
like that. Yeah.
school. I was in my, yeah, it was 2018. I've been going to Tiffany since 2018. Deanna recommended you because my skin was breaking out. And I definitely want to get into skin, but before we get into that, I need to hook these people and tell them that over time, Tiffany has developed some abilities, some mediumship abilities. So we're going to get into that and get into how that has really impacted our skin journey together. But first, I want to talk about skin. And the reason I want to talk about skin is because, first of all, I'm noticing that like a lot of women are having a lot of skin issues these days. Like, I have a lot of friends that are having really bad acne, right?
Mm-hmm.
Including myself. Like, what do you think is going on?
Well, I think there's two parts to that answer. Acne has always been really prevalent. I think uh, there's always been this misconception that acne is just for adolescents. When I became an esthetician 20 years ago, it was even a subject of conversation. Like, adult acne is on the rise. Why is this? So I don't think it just started recently, but in short, I do feel too there is an increase in eczema
Mm.
and rosacea and acne, like just more people having it, more people dealing with it, not just in adolescence, but in adult life. So I did notice that there is a bit of an increase. I noticed the past
Yeah.
like maybe 5 years even.
And I noticed that I've see it a lot more in women. Is it our hormones? Like what is causing that?
Well, that's a loaded question. there is, there is the acne gene, right? There's that, and then there's all these different things that trigger acne, and I think that why are women more susceptible? I do think it's not just hormones; it is the digestive system.
Mm.
So it's usually a combination of those two because the hormones are metabolized in the pancreas and then detox through the whole digestive system. So I have been finding more and more, I'd say the past 8 years, that it's a combination of the two. It's not just like your body's producing too much or too little hormone situation. It is hormones plus digestive system.
Mm. Okay. And I think it's important to talk about my journey here. So before I went to you know what? I think I just had a late growth spurt because my skin was like perfectly clear for the longest. And then I got to college and then I started breaking out, and it's always just on my cheeks. And then I started coming to you, it was clearing. I left because I moved, and then I broke out the worst I've ever broken out in my whole entire life. Like it was my whole cheeks were covered. I was scarred, and then I came back and you fixed it all. But what was the issue with me, like that you noticed?
Well, I don't remember when you first started coming to me what your trigger was. Um, but usually, you specifically, I think that it was a combination of topicals and then kind of addressing what was happening inside. But I don't know that we ever really pinpointed what that one thing was for you, but we did experiment a lot with
Mhm.
different supplements trying to address those specific digestive and hormonal triggers that we do know about. Uh, I know that you did. Modify your lifestyle habits somewhat, and we experimented that way, and somehow some way within a period of time of just keeping testing to see what would work and what wouldn't, eventually we just had a breakthrough, And but sometimes this happens where we don't really know what worked exactly. And but to your point of suddenly you started breaking out and noticing these massive breakouts. Um, at that time, you were just experiencing probably a new trigger,
Mm,
and somehow, some way, it just we, you know, by sticking to a routine, by sticking to the process over time, you ended up getting clear. And this happens with many people. With a lot of people, there isn't a precise answer,
mhm.
like what was it that
Right,
worked? Because there's so much that we do know about the body and the skin and acne, and there's so much we don't know. So, in the process, we're just embracing everything we know in terms of science. And also, there's so much that I've learned from in from doing, from
mhm.
in clinic, learning things that aren't in books. So we just mesh everything we know together, and then we just apply that. And for many people, there isn't like this answer, okay, it was this for me,
Right.
but somehow, some way, if they stick to it long enough, they do see, they do get clear.
Yeah, we had to do a lot of trial and error. And how much does like, because I can tell you this,
Mhm.
I think a lot of my acne was from stress, but my acne was stressing me out. So it was like a vicious cycle. Like, how do you
Yeah.
do you think that your stress, like your mental health, has an impact on your skin? Like does that show up?
Well, I'm so glad you're bringing this up. And because I would like to talk about this, because a lot of people come to me,
Mhm.
women will say, I think it's hormones and I think it's stress. Those are the two most common things people assume it is. But let me break it down for you what that means, like biologically, stress. So when we're stressed, and like obviously there's a spectrum of stress, right? Even if we're just driving along and then someone cuts in front of us and we like slam on our brakes, there is a chemical reaction in the body, right,
Mhm.
happening. And one of the things that happens is that your testosterone rises a little bit. There's a hormones called androgens. Androgens are responsible for oil production. And so if your stress goes up, your oil production goes up, right? Biologically, we can say science has figured that out, right?
Mhm.
However, everybody is different. Everyone's skin is different. Everyone's body might react to stress a little bit differently. And so, also, in addition to that, some people with the acne gene, oil production makes them break out.
Mhm.
Some people, oil does not make them break out. And so anyway, there you have it. But I have found that women who come to me and say, I think it's stress, are legitimately correlating that to something real happening in their lives. But often I find that there is a diet related connection to that particular, maybe like 80% of the time, women who say it's stress, it will end up to be food. But
Mhm.
doesn't that make sense?
Mhm.
Because a lot of the foods that we know can trigger breakouts are comfort foods,
Yeah,
mac and
ice
cheese,
cream.
ice
That's
cream.
mine.
Maybe you just increase your coffee a little bit more
Yeah.
because you're stressed. Maybe you just like grab that candy or whatever
Chocolate. Right.
sweet because, just to console yourself. So, but I would say that I have seen stress breakouts, and they appear as a pattern evenly all over the face.
Mm.
Now, breakout patterns, acne patterns are a clue. It's not a perfect science. But if someone doesn't have that particular pattern, then I will kind of, put that on a mental whiteboard and really pursue more a potential diet related, food related, digestive related trigger.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think I've boiled mine down to dairy because we've cut out smoking, we've cut out drinking, cut out stress for the most part. Topicals, cut them out other than what you've provided. And I'm still every once in a while, but I
Mhm.
haven't cut out ice cream and I don't really know if I
Okay.
can do
Well,
that.
let me tell you about ice cream.
Tell me.
I just call it like, you may as well just call it like breakout cream, because if dairy can cause an acne breakout for you, if that's in your genes, or if that's happening in your body. Ice cream will do it because it's like a double whammy.
The
It's like,
sugar.
but what is it in ice cream? Like heavy cream. It's not just cow's milk. It's like that heavy cream plus the sugar, which is like, what's Ben and Jerry's ice cream? Like 80 grams of sugar.
Oh,
So, and there's just like that could be like a 3 scoop cone right
yeah.
there, and you're just like on vacation or something, you're out with your friends and they're eating it and they're not broken out. And so you think you're going to be
Right.
fine, right? And then, but it is ice cream. In fact, I will often ask people, have you, if, when someone's lying down and I'm studying the acne pattern, I ask a lot of questions because I'm trying to suss out what are they really eating. And if people aren't restricting their diet or modifying their diet for health reasons or other reasons like that, no one's aware of what they're eating or they're not eating. So I will ask people, for example, like, okay, so do you eat any dairy? And
Mhm.
they'll be like, no, never. I never eat dairy. And then I will ask, well, this is a real story, true story. And then I asked, how many times have you had ice cream this week? And she said 3 to 4. So a lot of people don't know that that ice cream is dairy.
What?
I don't think people associate ice cream even as a food. They're
Oh
just
my,
like, this is an
like a popsicle or
experience.
something. I love ice cream. I'm sorry. I try to do dairy free, but I got a jar of Rocky Road Tillamook in my
Mm,
fridge right now, and I'm going to eat it tonight, and I'm
okay.
going to feel it tonight because not only do I break out, but I also bloat so bad.
Okay. Well, listen, there are alternatives. A long time ago, I had to go gluten free because of my health
Mm,
problems, and there was like nothing, and everyone made fun of me. But
mhm.
nowadays, you've
Yeah.
got dairy free ice cream. You've got like at Whole Foods, you've got like 5 different brands to choose from.
That's true. I
So
try. I try. It's just not as satisfying.
it doesn't have that like cow. But you know what? When you stop eating cow's milk ice cream, you do kind of your taste buds do change.
That's true.
And I do want to say for people listening to this, there is life after dairy.
Mm,
There is life after cheese.
mm.
There's life after ice cream. You know. um, but I get it because I had to go off of it too because dairy is a trigger for me too.
Mm.
So.
Okay, so I think it's really interesting that like okay, so into your mediumship abilities, like I have laid down and you're like, your spirits told me you need to stop eating ice cream. They said that.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
They
And
say that? Oh, that's
yeah, I know
funny.
a lot of
Okay.
times you don't remember what you said, but are you getting messages from people
Mhm.
on what in their body is triggering them?
Yes, and I just want to say that I'm not trying to get this information. Um it's just coming at me real strong. It's just like it's like someone walking up to you and saying she's actually eating ice cream and this is why she's breaking out. And so, I'm like, okay, are you eating ice cream? So it's like that.
Mm,
Um, but it's not something I'm seeking. But since I have become accepting and open to my mediumship and psychic abilities, I notice it comes a lot, and I get a lot
mhm,
of insight to people when I'm focusing on them. Like, let's say someone like walks up to me and like I don't know, shakes my hand. If I focus on them enough, just any part of them, sometimes I'll start getting things from them. So
mm.
it just is natural. You're lying there for an hour.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
I'm thinking in my brain, like, how can I like what is this trigger? And then the information sometimes
Mm.
just comes.
So, do you look at people differently now that you have these abilities? Like, can you tell when somebody's lying, stuff like that?
Well, it's funny because you did ask me a question. It's a good. You asked me a question the other day, and I could see immediately you knew the answer to it, and like that was really interesting. You're like, Tiffany, what do you think of this and this? And I'm like, oh, she knows the answer to that. So, but maybe because I read for you so often, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like, and that's the thing. Like, the more I have like had sessions or experienced and connected to your energy or your guides or the spirits around you, I feel like it's just such a free flowing energy
Mhm.
between us that like things just come kind of easy to me
Mhm.
for you. And so, but I could see it was like right above your head and it was like this little like shape of gray and black. And I like looked at it and I knew exactly what you were thinking. And I was like, oh, that's
So,
interesting.
can you read my
So
mind?
no, 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 no. I wish. I wish I could
Don't
kind of
think
read minds, but no, it
not
was
to do
just that
that.
you asked me a question and
Oh.
immediately I could see the energy around that question that you knew the answer to it
Mm,
and then the answer to that,
So I asked you to see if you knew the answer, or was I trying to get your insight?
You asked me if I knew the answer.
Okay.
But I think you were maybe wanting to affirm or
Okay.
hoping
Okay.
for a certain answer. It's like
Okay.
one of those questions like, am I done yet?
Oh, okay.
Am I am I healed yet? And I'm like, okay, well, yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah, we've had plenty of journeys, but I have to tell you about that phone call I had the other day. So,
oh,
like,
okay.
okay, so you and I talk all the time, and you're like, I think that you're seeking these outside sources a lot. Like, you're seeking mediumship because you have these abilities as well. Like, you're looking for it because you also have it. So, I find people like this all the time, right? So, I was recommended someone the other day, and I got on the phone with her, and she was apparently able to see me on the dream realm, spirit
Hmm.
realm.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, cool. What's up there? Like, let's chit chat. And so she was like trying to channel me. She needed to know my full name, so I told her. And then she needed to know where I was in the current moment. So I'm like, okay. So I as soon as I told her, I Googled my full name and where I was to see what popped up. I'm like, let me just see what she can see. But anyway, so she tried to channel me, and she was asking me these questions like, do you have issues with your upper arms? And I was like, no. And then she was like, would your grandparents feel some type of way about you having this conversation with me because they're super religious? I was like, no. And she's like, okay, I think I have the wrong person. So then she tried
Mm.
to refine me. And then we're having a conversation. I'm asking her these questions. She's answering. I'm like, let me test her really quick. So I asked her, I said, hey, my dog passed away right before my nephews were born. So I said, hey, what did my dog think of my nephews? And she was like, he really liked them. Like, he was scared they were gonna pull his tail. And I was like, all right, conversation over. And I got off the phone with her. Because I realized, like, I'm like, yeah, you don't know. But how do you feel like are you able to distinguish when someone has these abilities or not? Like, what does that look like for you?
Well, it's interesting because someone asked me that today.
Mm.
Like, can you tell? Um, uh, as a medium, like with my abilities, can I tell someone else has abilities?
Mhm.
And yes, but uh, that information usually is something that I'm not seeking. It just comes to me.
Mm.
It's like think I've told several people, like I sense that you do have abilities, but it's not something I'm like, fishing for. It's just
Mhm.
like is information that is given to me. Like,
Mm.
okay, I'm hearing that you have abilities. But in regards to like other practitioners, which is often a symptom I have heard of having abilities, is that you're really into the esoteric, maybe you're really into tarot, and before you're open to your abilities or realize your abilities, you go out seeking these things, and
Mhm.
they're just like fun and interesting for you. So apparently that's a symptom of having
Mm.
abilities. So I have many times had tarot readings and mediumship reading before, and like different readings from different people with multitudes of abilities.
Mhm.
And I don't know, sometimes it's kind of obvious if someone's not connecting with you,
Right, right,
just how
right.
you described, in that case. So but I can kind of pick up on abilities, but not specifically. Like sometimes I just know the person has abilities. That's what I'm told, that they have abilities. I can sense it, but I don't know exactly what they are. And sometimes it does come through really clear. Like this person is clairaudient, and then I
Mhm.
can actually see and
Mhm.
visualize them receiving information and not even realizing it. So
Mm.
it's a mixed bag. But I can't. I don't know if I could do it on demand. If I had like 100
Right.
people in front of me, I would be, no, 100 times.
Mhm.
But it's common.
Yeah. So you would say, I guess it's been what, like 3 years since you started developing these, maybe two?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
how has your life changed?
Well, yeah, that's kind of hard to describe because when you have these supernatural, life altering, moments, you just feel changed. But your life around you might be the same. Like you might have the same job, you might have to, you're using the same shampoo, you have the
Mhm,
same
mhm,
friends. But in my case, um, initially when I started having the experiences, I didn't realize that it was because of my abilities. I
mm,
thought, oh, this is just cool. This is just I just happen to have this one experience. Oh, I'm having multiples,
mhm,
So ultimately, it has led me to getting closer to and more alignment with my true self
mhm,
and my what I believe is one of my callings and purposes in life. So, I
mhm,
mean, that's it's a big deal.
yeah.
And just embracing that, even though it felt a little foreign,
Mhm,
and sometimes still does as I move forward and being a practitioner as a Peiko and doing that energy work and even still being the mediumship and doing mediumship readings, I still can't believe that it's happening, in
mm.
a sense, because I never sought it out. I never tried to be a medium or believed that I had these abilities.
Mm. So let me tell you the moment I knew you had these abilities. I think you will probably remember this, but so I come to get my face done. I hadn't seen you in like a year because I had moved. Maybe it was even longer because I moved and came back. Came to get my came to get a facial. I brought my cousin with me. And just because I don't know like literally that morning, she was just gonna stay at home. And I was like, hey, you wanna ride? And she was like, yeah, I love seeing pimples getting popped. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she rode with me and we get there and me and you were having conversation and then you were like, there's a boy in the room. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know who you were talking about. And then you were like, he keeps saying my head, my head. And then I instantly looked over at my cousin because I'm like, oh my goodness, I know who she's talking about. Like I instantly knew. And he was talking to her through you and just saying how sorry he was. He unfortunately took his life by shooting himself in the head, and you were able to connect with him and channel that conversation. And what you were saying was that he was stuck because of the agony that he was feeling that he, caused people. And you were telling us like how to help lift him up. So we went home and did everything you said, light the candles, share his story. And the next time we came to you, he was in a different place. You said he was like reading and had like a robe on and stuff. So
Mhm.
he had completely changed his place. But as you see it, what does the afterlife look like to you?
Wow, I could write a book about that. And that is why this these abilities is the greatest honor of my life, to be able to, sense and kind of dance in the spirit realm every day, in communication with these different spirits. But gosh, it just depends. There's so much I don't know, but there is a lot that I have been told and shown, in a short period of time. And one thing is that we never die. We never die. Um, we just transform. And number one, number two is that, in a nutshell, we're all here to grow. That's pretty much it. But each but each and every one of us has this very specific, intricate journey. And so that's another thing. It's so complex. I don't know that we would ever understand how unique everyone's journey is to their soul.
Mhm.
Um, Also, another thing that spirits have taught me, and this is, you just mentioned an example, is when they come through, the first thing they want their loved ones to know is that they're taking accountability,
Mm,
and sometimes, often, they'll say they're sorry for very specific things. Um, and when they come through, sometimes there is like a bit of a weight to their energy, but their energy compared to humans is higher, than a human's energy. Um, but and also, another thing is, they have told me that really we want to do this in our life before we
mm,
transfer to the other side. Within our lifetimes, we want to see ourselves objectively and really take accountability. And really, sometimes that means starting at some point. Like, if it's 40, 45, you're starting, really like look back and really think of your life objectively and see what you can take accountability for, even if it's just within yourself. Because when you do that work, you're just going to have a smoother transition into the other side.
Mm,
And so yes, so there's so many so many different things about the afterlife
mhm.
that I have been shown. That's just one of them.
So when we transition into the afterlife, are we still are our spirits still here on earth?
Yes, in a nutshell. Now, where do the spirits convene? Like
Mm.
for lunch and dinner, and where do they sleep? I don't know if it's here, but they're definitely here, and they are, you know, traveling at the speed of light. So they
Mm,
can be in two places at once. For example, spirits have told me, they are physically here, but they're pure consciousness. So if we have a loved one that we want to connect with, you wouldn't necessarily need to seek out a medium. You could just focus on them and talk to them yourself, and be confident that when you focus and think of them, they do they do hear you and they are
mhm.
with us.
So when I transition, will I be able to like meet up with my parents as you know it, like my grandparents? I'll be able to see them over there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And even people you may not have even known in this lifetime. We have soul fam. We have a big, each of us have like a big soul group family. So you'll even see people that you didn't maybe recognize in this life, but you'll be like, oh, like Ray from from wherever. So yes, and usually the first people to greet you, like in that moment of transition, that initial moment, is someone very familiar you're very familiar with, to just help you, like to help you acclimate,
Mhm.
like, hey, take my hand.
Oh
I've
wow.
actually had a spirit show me that their loved one said, come on, come on. you
That
know
was my grandpa and my uncle,
oh, was
right?
that was
Yeah.
that oh yeah, he was like, come on,
You're
come
right.
here, give me your hand. It's like that. And actually, spirits have actually shown me the moment of leaving their body many
What
times.
does that look like?
Well, many times it is a bit scary, as you can imagine.
Mhm.
So they show me the sense of, sometimes they tell me it felt like I was falling a little bit. Like there's a bit of movement that happens. Like they can feel themselves moving a little bit out of their body. And many of them will say that they were fearful initially, like on a scale of 1 to 10. It could be anywhere that, I've had people tell me I was scared, but it was like a 3 out of 10,
Mm,
or I was scared. It was like 10. I was so scared.
mm,
And then there's this initial kind of moment where you feel like well, how they showed it to me, I felt like I was like falling into an abyss of
mm.
blackness. And then I snap out of it, and then they're your loved ones. And you're like, your heart just like fills up and starts spilling over with like
Mm,
love. So it really is just a very slight little moment of just the unknown.
mm,
And I think every person has a different relationship with that. So depending upon what their beliefs are, I think one might be more or less um you know, scared. I've even had spirits show me like kind of a rough time in that moment, really not wanting it to be, because they were scared, what would happen to them, maybe because of
you're
certain
right. Do they think they're gonna
beliefs,
go to
religious
hell?
beliefs, or
Yeah.
exactly.
So you know what this makes me think of? The movie Soul. Like, have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
You have to watch
No.
Soul, and I feel like they got it right because
Oh, really?
it's so cute. Because basically in the movie, I won't spoil it for you, but basically in the movie, this man transitions and he's on like a conveyor belt up, and he like is greeted by all of these spirits, and they're up there and they're like working with people on the earth to like communicate and help them figure out their passions and things like that. So, do spirit? I remember you telling me that like the spirits they'll wave like that.
Yeah.
Do they
They
like have
do.
their bodies, or like they like clouds? Like what do they look
Well,
like?
when I'm communicating with spirits, they're using symbols and images to communicate with me. And so, even animals. And so sometimes one spirit did tell me that they aren't in human form. And then he showed me himself, and it looked essentially like an aura,
Mm,
light.
mhm.
But when they're communicating with me, they're showing me themselves in human form so that I can communicate, whatever to the loved one.
Mm.
But I don't, we do not keep that old, we're not going to keep this.
Right,
This is
right.
not,
Our skin.
yeah, when we leave it, it's,
Mm,
we really leave it here.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, okay, this is the this is the funny thing. So I come and see you about once a month. Every time I
mhm.
come and see you, like it's like my life alters drastically because you're telling me like my life's purpose. And I'm like, okay, I came here to get a facial and I'm walking out knowing why I'm put on this planet, right? So last time you told me I'm a messenger
Mm.
and you gave me an energy cleanse. And that I can't even put into words how that felt. So basically for the viewers,
Mm.
um I was laid down and you went through my whole body and like each chakra and told me like what I needed to cleanse out of each chakra, like what did I need to work on, what was blocked, how to unblock it. And I had never felt, I don't know if I've gotten an energy cleanse before actually, but during that process, I felt physical sensations of what you were saying. Like you mentioned when I had broke my wrist when I was 8 years old, and I felt a feeling like a sensation in my wrist. And I thought that was so crazy. So I'm sure for you, like, do they talk to you about yourself or do you only hear about other people?
They do talk to me about myself. And sometimes it's fantastical. I'll be, and I could tell many stories. I can even write like mini books of adventures that spirits have taken me on about myself. But like on a day-to-day basis, it's more like it sounds like this, like, you really should get off of TikTok. Or when you go home, don't want to watch Netflix. Um, y- we want you should do meditation or energy work. It
Mm.
just feels like, okay, they basically like it's just, day-to-day guidance that I get. But yes, I do.
And when you
Mhm.
don't listen to them, like Tiffany, you're not listening.
Yes, but they're like not, they don't necessarily nag. Like it feels like it makes sense what they're telling me. Like I get it. Yeah,
Hmm.
but it's hard. Like, gosh, like
Right. I want to
I don't
scroll
I
on
don't feel
TikTok.
like it. I don't feel
Yeah.
like going home every night and doing, sometimes I want to binge on Netflix,
Right.
but it's specific to me. It's specific what they want me to be aligned with in terms of my life purpose. And so always know it's for my highest good.
Mhm.
But yes, I've connected to relatives on the other side. I
Mm.
can communicate. Um, I've given myself and those energy. I do energy work on myself,
Mhm.
so I can. It's not quite like what I'm doing for you though, but I can.
Mm. So, are you feeling any energies in here in this room?
Well, I mean, it might take me a minute to shift my energy into this room. Um, but and also when I start to communicate with spirits, I really do need a minute. Like I need like 10, 15 minutes. But there is a man standing by the refrigerator for some reason now that you ask. Not sure who that is. Might take me a minute to figure it out. Um, I don't know for you, for some reason, I'm like being really drawn to you for some reason. There's like a little
I
bit of
told
like
you.
a heavy, but I feel like a little bit of heaviness, but it might take me some time to unpack you, your energy. But like, I'm really being drawn to you.
When she starts channeling, she starts
So,
coughing.
I mean, coughing on, yeah, it's just like energy going through me. Um, but, man, there's this guy here. He really, maybe he wants to say something. I'm
What does he
sorry.
have to
When
say?
I laugh, it's because spirits are the energy is going through me. So, um, yeah, there's activity, but the strongest energy here is of a man right here by the fridge, and he kind of looks like your guys' age a little bit. Like, but I don't know who he is. So here's the deal. Like, a lot of times you have loved ones around you, and a lot of times you have like random spirit souls that hang out with you because of where you live, where you work, things like this. Like it could be like a coworker's, grandmother, like things like this. So um there's also someone upstairs right now. Um I don't know why. For some reason, if I connect, I feel like if I start connecting to your energy, I'm gonna start to cry a little bit. And so, yeah, yeah, you guys, this is like there's a lot. Do you have a girlfriend? There's multiple things happening here all at once. But do you have like a girlfriend or ex-girlfriend who maybe have lost it's like an ex of yours or like a girlfriend of yours? I'm getting someone who's passed from her, so I'm going to ask them to just step aside because um I don't know that we'll be able to get like evidential information. Who is this person? Let me ask him. If he'll come like a little closer to me. He's got like um I'm getting the name. Anyway, I feel like I don't know who he was. Are you someone's blood relative, or are you like a friend or blood relative? Friend or blood relative? He might be a friend. I'm not sure, or like a brother, or like a friend's brother. Anyway, he looks like he's maybe in his 30s, 35. He may have been from Maryland. Anyway, I don't know how much time you guys have, but anyway, it takes some time here. But
Get into
um,
it. Y'all have anywhere to be?
yeah, Maryland. Let's see what he says. He's got like for some reason he's got like this necklace that kind of looks like mine, but it's like a little bigger. Um, he's smoking too. What's your? Let me see if he'll give me his name. I mean, I am getting, is anyone like, I don't know, just please take names with a grain of salt. Because names could be a clue. Names could be a message. Names could be something happening in the future too. And names could be the spirit. But I am getting Trey for some reason. He did say the word Trey. And so I don't know.
Oh, I'm ironically enough, it's not Trey, but
Mm.
today's my cousin's birthday,
Oh,
and similar to what you said about your being about holding his head, he committed suicide.
oh, he did.
Yeah, he would have been 42 today.
Oh, okay. Oh, 42.
Is that him?
Hmm. Hmm. Did he smoke?
Yes,
Did he wear necklaces?
he always wore a rosary.
Oh, rosary. Okay. Did he have facial hair?
Not so much.
Mm, yeah. Let me see if he'll give me any evidential information.
You said
I said it.
you
I
said
didn't know though.
give me a reading.
I didn't. I did not know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I wasn't sure if that was you, but and also I'm like, can you tell me if you're friends? And he went over here, so would it be a cousin on your father's side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he went over to the father side.
Mhm.
So I guess maybe it could be him. Okay, let's see if he'll give us. But he's like right here. He's like actually like standing right there. And so let's see if he could give us any evidential information. But I don't know. I feel his energy is like really high, actually. Like, like in terms of high, I mean like his energy feels very like he's definitely gone through the cleanse. He feels really good. His energy. Um, in terms of like whatever has happened since he went into the spirit realm, it's like he's definitely advanced and cleansed, and this person who's here right now. I think I have to move on because I'm not hearing him very well, and I think it's me because I was stressed when I got here. But he's like, you're not really getting everything I'm trying to tell you. So I'm like, sorry. They'll spirits will do that to me. They'll be like, you're getting about 70% of what I'm
Mm.
saying. But he's very much here. Yeah, if you let's see if you can show me anything else. Um, do you have any questions? Maybe this will spark. You have a question?
Um, no, he gave his life. He how can I say this? He gave his life to the Lord. He cut his
Mm.
locks and everything before he transitioned.
Oh, really?
We found out years later that he was HIV positive, and that might have been the reason why he did what he did.
Hmm.
He's also was addicted to PCP at the time, so that's another story.
Hmm.
And it might not be him; it might be someone else.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can though um, focus on that a little bit. See if anything comes up. Um, I don't know. I just feel like the person you're talking about. um, I am getting a little bit about that. It feels like whatever he was struggling with, like a part of himself he was struggling with, or whatever, it really started young, you know? Like he was born and he felt maybe it was something like he was a little more energetically sensitive, or he just felt like a little different. I'm getting. So I think that he's kind of drawing this line to how his life ended, what ended up happening, and really the beginning of his life, and kind of how he felt a little different. But okay. This guy's telling me, don't worry. When you go home on your way home and in your sleep, I'll make sure that you get the message I'm trying to give you. I'm like, okay. The spirits will follow me home when I don't get the message that they want out. They'll hang out with me for a few days and they'll be like, okay, so this
Is
is
that
what I
heavy
wanted to
on
say.
you?
No, because spirit energy is really nice. It's a really it's usually a nice energy. It's just, they're good vibes.
Mm.
So I
Were
don't
you
mind it.
scared at first?
Were you scared
No.
when you first tapped in?
Well, I will say that when I started hearing, like audibly hearing the hellos, that was the scariest thing that ever happened to me in my life. And that is like if and this the sound and that is very rare. I even Googled it. And they're like, if that happens to you, you should check yourself into a mental institution. And I thought, okay, so maybe I am crazy, you know. But it is so interesting because it sounds different. It sounds like I sound right now in the room, but there's a little bit of an echo to it, and it's very kind of a big sound, like hello. You know, it's like it's
Really?
scary when you're like about to fall asleep, and then like it sounds like someone's a random person talking to you in your ear. But other than that, no, not at all. In fact, I used to be scared of the dark like my whole life, like ever since I was a kid. You know, just like regular. You know, like
Mhm.
oh, is there someone behind me? Now I just know there's someone behind me. So
Oh my
at all
gosh.
times,
That
I'm
is
like, okay. But
scarier.
now I really feel comfortable in the dark now. I'm like, I'm good now because I can see through my mind's eye, you know? So
Who's
I'm like,
here?
yeah, so we just may as well assume, yep. And I sometimes get people ask me, is there someone around me? And I'm like, yep, yep,
Is there
everybody.
is there someone around me? I know you said there's a little boy at my house. Is he
Mhm.
still there?
Let me ask. Do you have a backyard-ish
Mhm.
thing situation? Did you do anything where you put a piece of paper in the ground?
Yeah.
Okay, because he says he was there when you put the piece of paper in the ground. You did some sort of spiritual something.
You told me to.
Okay.
I had to write the names on the
Okay.
paper and burn
Well,
it and put it in
he's
the ground.
okay, so he's showing me himself there when you did that. Wow, that's good to know that, people do the things I say to do because
That was
sometimes I
after
don't
the
know.
energy cleanse.
That sometimes I don't know. I'm like,
Mhm.
does anyone do anything that the spirits recommend them? So he was there, and I feel like that really helped his energy.
Mm.
So I feel like he's not there as often, or
I
somehow
thought
his
he liked
energy is like
me.
a little bit clear. I don't know, something about you doing some sort of spiritual work helped him somehow. Like it kind of raised the vibration around your house or something.
Mm.
I don't know, but he shows me he's just not there as frequently. But it's a good thing. Like it almost healed him, and
Aw.
it's like kind of being around that healing energy just helped heal him a little bit.
So is there
That's
anyone around me?
you right now.
Mm. I
Um,
don't ever have spirits. Well, other than my army.
right. Oh, right. Um, I mean, I do get like right this second. Um, I do get that you have a grandmother. Do you have a grandmother who visits you, or a grandmother figure who does pop in
Mm.
to check on you?
Mm.
Um, but it's a grandmother figure, so it could be a grandmother, like on your dad's side, or like a
Mhm.
great grandmother.
Mhm.
But she just like pops in. I just see her popping in to check on you. Um, I also see like a lot of things happening in your energy right now. And so,
Tell me.
um,
Don't embarrass me though.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. Of course not. I mean, there's only good things happening in your aura, of course. But no, I just feel like there's something brewing for you. I feel like you're really growing, and I feel just your aura, or just the energy in your energy body just feels like it's moving more like faster or something than I normally see it. So I don't know. There's something that you're doing. There's things that you're putting into action, or like kind of like you're creating I think, new kind of energy for yourself. And I don't know exactly what I'm seeing, like interpreting every little piece of what I'm seeing, but it feels like something that you're creating for yourself. Like,
That's exciting.
so it does feel like something you've done or doing in the past 6 weeks, could be all the spiritual stuff. I don't know.
Right.
But I feel like there's really some, it's kind of like you're kind of like creating energy from nothing, from doing whatever um, healing work that you're doing.
Mm.
So, and also I see you like creating things in your mind and moving forward with it. It feels like a very creative energy, but it feels like a little bit faster, a little bit
Mm.
the past. I think some of the cleansing, maybe some of the cleansing is really helping free you a little um creatively. I'm not sure that you notice, but it definitely
Yeah, I definitely do feel a
feels
lot
good.
different after that. And also you're in the creative space, so maybe that's why too.
Mm,
Maybe.
true.
But why does his energy make you want to cry?
Well, I think that is just the beginning of an hour and a half, 2 hour long
Mhm.
conversation, which I'm I'm happy to have, but this is how it begins.
Mhm.
I feel like I could like unpack so much with you.
Mm.
For some reason, your energy, I'm just really drawn to it. And I just think there's just a lot of messages for you.
Mm.
And I think you have, but I just not sure, like I can quickly pull them right now in this
Yeah.
setting. But I just feel like you have some messages for you that maybe I'm supposed to give, but we could do that, another time. I
Sure.
can, we can, because it feels like you need it, there's
Oh,
something you
absolutely.
need. And also I really get in your pancreas right now. I'm really being drawn to it. Yeah, it's for some reason. And so and like something in your diaphragm I'm feeling. Whew. Yeah. Ooh. Mhm. Um, I think that you're due for some energy healing. Now, obviously, that could be said for everybody, right?
Mhm.
But just specifically, I'm really being drawn. I think you might have some things happening with your health, like maybe mild, that is would be good to know ahead of time. That might come through for you. Maybe more specifics when we get into it. But for some reason, your pancreas looks a little gray. Like there's a little gray, something gray about your pancreas. And so I'm gonna say that usually when I see gray around an organ, it's like, maybe it's not the healthiest. And also there, I don't know what's going on in your diaphragm right here, but I wonder, I don't know. I want to say, like, what if you have like a little thing because the stomach's right there? I don't know if you got something kind of, I don't know, maybe you have like a maybe baby hiatal hernia or something. I don't know, but there's something like in your diaphragm. And then in the, so I'm gonna guess that maybe you could do probably really use a cleanse. Um, but anyway, the pancreas, mm, will be affected when with like blood sugar stuff. So, um, I do think you might be prone to um some point in the future, like maybe having a little prone to diabetes, like maybe as you get older. Or like, um, also I think like your creative energy is really, really, how do you describe? It's like giving me energy right now. Ooh. Um, yeah, I don't know if you're aware that you have it, but like I see it like going like swirling up your brain. Like it's like I feel like you and I could have like really great brainstorming sessions, or I don't know, you're just really creative. I can feel it. And it really feeds your brain. Like it's so healthy for your brain, right? And so, but it's really actually good for your brain health, even like I get.
Mhm.
So like God, like I just see you like maybe in the future also doing something with your hands. Like I just think like for the rest of your life, just really know that like continuing to pursue creative ideas and curiosities is really important for your brain health, like in your heart health. I'm getting as well because I'm getting your heart health is maybe a little at risk too here. And so but I also get that like in your heart I do get some residual sadness and some, I get some stuff that happened in the past that is really like you have created a storage unit of things. It seems like you just kind of sometimes things happen in life, and I don't know that we're meant to heal it necessarily right in that moment, right? But then like life goes on. We have the world keeps spinning. We have to get up every morning, and then it's next thing you know, it's 10 years later, and it's like that thing is still there. And I feel like you've got about three things I'm getting 3 things, and they're like in a storage unit, and it's like you're paying every month though, and it's like $250 a month for that storage unit. And like at the end of the year, it's like a lot of energy you're putting to keep it away. You know what I mean? And so there is a way to clear that. And and maybe it is something, I always encourage people, do what resonates. But obviously energy cleansing, energy medicine, it could be a piece of that puzzle, I feel, for sure for you. And I just see you, I really feel that there is so much power in for you connecting with nature and cleansing yourself. Like really connecting with nature in a way that I don't know that you do it. Whatever you're doing, it's like here and then they want you to be here. I feel like nature, a really like reciprocal relationship with nature, could really heal you and help cleanse your heart energy too. I also see you like doing something with your hands. Like this could be just a metaphor that they're showing me, or it could be literal, but like I really see you like don't laugh. I see you doing pottery. Or like something with your hands, like earth hands. Like this would be really healing for you. And I see you doing it maybe when you're a little older. Like anyway, but I see you just really just encourage you to that creative energy has to go somewhere, right? Because you're getting it from here and it has to come out, and it has to come out in a way that's like in alignment with your, that's good. Otherwise it will come out in a way that's a little destructive. You know what I mean? And so it's like flowing and you're like, I got to do something with this. And then like, it's going to go one place or the other. So I'm being shown like to do something with like, I don't know, think of picking up something to do with your hands in the future. Think about how you can commune with nature in a really unique way where you can, okay, they're telling me to tell you this, but they are telling me for you to find a tree that resonates with you. Just, I don't know, any tree, right? And then it seems like some of your stuck energy and some of the things that happen in your life is about lack of receiving. Lack of receiving. But it's like 10%. You know what I mean?
Oh, almost there.
It's like, but you're fine. That meme when I'm fine, and then there's a fire.
Right.
You're like, I'm fine. But actually you're not here to just be fine. And I think that's one of your soul, I believe what they're telling me is this is one of your soul's lessons, right? You're not just supposed to be fine. So and so I see you in front of a tree here, and for 30 minutes they're telling me this. For 30 minutes, find a tree that resonates with you. And you go into the tree and you introduce yourself. Say, my name is Tiffany, and I'm here seeking some healing and some cleansing. And I'm grateful for what you give to me because we are all children of the earth. We are all nature as well. And Mother Earth is constantly giving and giving and giving, and we're taking and taking and taking. And so express gratitude and then sit there and for 15 minutes practice receiving the love of Mother Nature through the tree. And then the second 15 minutes, give love and appreciation back to the tree.
So this is pretty much what every appointment looks like for me. I come in, she changes my life, and then I leave and I practice, which is so interesting and fun. I'm really grateful to have you as my esthetician because you've cleared my face, but also because you've been giving me these messages and like practices to work on to like heal myself and others around me. So I really appreciate that. Where can people find you? Like if somebody wants to get an energy cleanser reading or get their face worked on, where should people find you?
Well, first of all, it is my honor to be this reporter messenger. It really, truly is. So I'm so grateful that I can do that for people. And I'm so grateful that you're so receptive of it because it really helps the energy flow so nicely. But you can find me at glowmode.com for my esthetician work and for my energy work.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for being here,
It's
Tiffany.
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad we had this conversation. This is
Thank
gonna be a
you.
good one. All right, you all, go get your face done and go get an energy cleanse.